Aloha everybody, I'm Dr. Chip Abadessa. I'm with Kaneohe Family Chiropractic. Today I want to take the time to describe the relationship between your posture and your health. It's probably something that your mother or auntie or grandmother had been reminding you since you were a child, that to sit up straight. So over the next few slides I want to kind of explain why that's true, and the best way to start with that is to understand how the body works, how it's designed. Your body has an innate intelligence or an inner wisdom. Every time you've gotten a bruise or a cut or a cold, your body heals and runs itself. It's done through your central nervous system. So your central nervous system basically is your brain, your spinal cord, and all the nerves that exit your spine. So here's a good representation of what they call the autonomic nervous system. And this is where the spine and your posture can have a direct impact on your health. Okay, so you'll notice that from the top down, from the brain down, in the spine, the most basic functions are regulated. Breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, all regulated by the nerves in the upper part of your neck. When you move to the middle part of your spine, it's mostly digestive. Stomach, liver, pancreas, those organs in that area. As we move lower to the spine towards your waist, now you're talking about lower digestion and reproduction. Now there's a second part of your nervous system, and that's your spinal nerves. So for example, the nerves in your neck go from your neck down to your fingertips, and then from your lower back all the way down to your toes. So a pinched nerve or a disc injury in your neck or lower back can cause pain or numbness or a sensation going, say, for example, from your neck down to your arm or fingers, or from your lower back down your legs, something called sciatica. Okay, so the problem is in posture is that when the spine is out of alignment, it will degenerate or decay. So from the front, we know that the spine should be straight up and down, right? Straight up and down. Now, the side view is much different. The side view of the spine is curved. And this is really important when it comes to your posture because the strong or supportive part of the spine is towards the back. The soft discs are in the front part of the spine. So anytime these curves, these three curves, your neck, middle back, and lower back, are forward of that gravity line, then it puts all the weight on the disc, causing the spine to decay. And this is very dangerous because the spine can actually grow into the spinal cord. Now, the thing that I'm seeing most frequently in my practice is what we call the tech neck, okay? And this is occurring in younger and younger people. I'm now seeing, it's not unusual for me to see teenagers, are talking about 14, 15 years old, with bone spurs in their necks. Another thing that I'm seeing on x-ray quite frequently is there is young people growing a spur or a bone in the back of their head, like a little spike, like a horn, because that's where the muscles attach to the back of the head. And if the head is always forward looking down at the phone, then it causes that area to actually create a little horn or a spike. Okay, so the most common pattern that I see is we call that forward head posture, again, where everything is forward. And this creates all sorts of different problems. One is, again, it puts the weight to the front part of the spine that's the weakest. First of all, the discs degenerate, but when it comes to being older or kapuna, the thing we have to really be mindful of is what we call osteoporosis, okay? That's a softening of the spine in the front here. And so what'll happen is the front part of this vertebra will collapse, and then you get that really severe hunch looking. And unfortunately, once that occurs, there's no way to rebuild that bone. So prevention is really, really key. So there's really a couple of different ways. First of all, maintaining good posture is something that that your chiropractor can help you with. That's one of the things that we specialize in, and I'm going to show you in a moment some before and after posture correction. But the front part of the spine, again, is the softest, and so you want to, of course, maintain good posture, but there's other aspects that you can employ. One is doing some sort of strength training, some weight-bearing exercise, because that builds the bone. And I know some people may have gotten prescribed Fosamax or other types of bone drugs, and those drugs will actually increase the density of the bone, but it does it in a very awkward matrix. Your bone has a kind of a spongy matrix inside, but when the drug puts the bone down, it's done in kind of in a sharp, jagged way, so it actually increases the brittleness of the bone. So the best way really is to prevent. And again, one of the keys is strength training. Now there are some insurance programs through Medicare that will actually pay for your gym membership called Silver Sneakers. And if that's something that's available to you, or in your facility that you have some weight training equipment, most of those systems are designed to have maybe 10 to 15 stations where you sit in the station and then you work your arms in one and your legs in another and your chest in another, and it works the whole body. And that's something that can be done maybe twice a week, 15, 30, 45 minutes each time. The second is getting enough sunshine. It's my opinion that one of the worst bits of medical advice is to avoid the sun. Okay, the sun is life-giving. It's what creates life on Earth. And you need a little bit of it every single day, and as much skin that's modestly possible. Maybe 15, 20 minutes every day, and again, as much skin as you can expose. And as sunscreens, again, you're talking about compounds that block the sun, but also may have hormone disrupting chemicals in them. So you want to use the most natural sunscreens available if you use a sunscreen at all. I prefer the internal sunscreens, your antioxidants, your brightly colored fruits and vegetables. The third thing about osteoporosis, or the prevention of osteoporosis, is eating an alkaline-based diet. And this is something you can search the internet, or there's other resources. But basically, when we have a poor diet, it acidifies the body. And the body's reaction to that acidification is to leach the minerals from your bones. So your bones become very brittle as a result of a high acid diet. Okay? So let's take a look at some other things. One of the things you can do to evaluate your own posture or a loved one's posture is simply stand either facing or with the back turned and look at the head and the shoulders and the hips. Are they level? Is the spine or the posture down the center? Okay, same thing for the side view. You want to have your head, your shoulder, hip, and ankle all in the same line. And again, anytime any of that is forward, it puts that weight on the soft discs in the front. Okay, this is a really good example of aging well, and on the other hand, not so well. Okay, so the x-ray to the left is an 82-year-old woman whose neck is in perfect shape. It has that beautiful curve that we're looking for. The spaces between the discs are nice and thick. And on the contrast on the other side is a 39-year-old woman who had a surfing injury. She went over the falls, landed on her head, and her neck was bent backwards, and it was never corrected, unfortunately. And you can see towards the top part of the spine, the discs are normal, but when you get to that apex of the reverse curve, those bones are much fatter and thicker, and that comes at the expense of the spinal cord, which is really important. Okay. Again, it creates a situation called stenosis, which unfortunately, once it happens, it's irreversible because that bone in the front part of the spine expands over time. And unfortunately, your spinal cord has no pain nerve endings to alert you that there's a problem. Usually your very first symptom is an emergency type of symptom, numbness or tingling or something like that going down your arms. Okay, this is what I do in my practice. Basically, it's to correct the spine and the posture through what we call the chiropractic adjustment. This is a good example of a before and after x-ray. Again, the most important view that we take in my practice is that side view of the neck. We call that the arc of life because the most basic functions of your spinal cord are in the upper part of your neck, like breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, etc. Okay, here's a good example of a before and after posture evaluation of a client. Okay, everybody when they come in, they have their posture photographed from the front and the side. And this gives me a really good idea of how we're going to approach their particular case. So you can see in this gentleman's case, much different not only in his physical structure, but in his facial appearance. He looks to be more alive. And that's true for this one as well. This is a really gratifying case because when I talked to the client after we were finished with the corrective process, he said, yeah, you know, I'm moving better, I'm feeling better, but the thing that I noticed most was that people related to me differently. They treated me as a peer as opposed to just some frail, old, weak looking old man. And so that was really gratifying to see that. Just a kind of a side note, I've done a lot of research on what makes certain people live really long, like 90s, 100s, that kind of thing. And I tried to find a common diet thing, and some people had a great diet, some people not so good, some people smoked, some people had alcohol every day. So there was no real rhyme or reason behind a commonality between all these different factors. But the one thing that I did find was they all had good personal interrelationships. They all had either one or two people that they really connected to. And that's really important. regardless of what you learn here today, I think that's one of the things that I can't stress enough is for overall health and well-being is that you have that personal connection with someone or a group of people. Again, that really does round out the physical, emotional, and mental aspect of good health. Let's see what else we have here. Again, just another example of what we call that forward head posture, where the head, the shoulders, and the hips are all forward. And one of the detriments to that is that when your rib cage comes down, your head comes forward, all the muscles behind your neck and shoulders have to try to engage to try to keep your head up, but it also reduces the amount of breathing that you can do. Most of us breathe maybe 5, 10, 15% of our capacity on a regular basis. And one of the secrets to exercise is not so much that it moves your muscles and joints and things like that, which is true, but it forces you to breathe fully and completely. And that's something that you can do sitting while you're sitting. Another suggestion is, and there'll be another video on this completely, is on how to sit, how to stand, how to bend, those type of things. So I hope you'll join me for that video as well. So with these suggestions, I hope that you found helpful to, again, learning to sit up straight, and then the importance of good posture. And again, our website is 808 Spine. There's a couple of great videos. There's some other postural suggestions, and I urge you to see our other video talking about the ergonomics of good posture and spinal health. And again, thank you for your time today. I'm Dr. Chip Abadessa with Connie O'Hay Family Chiropractic. Thank you.